50.
Makes the red to the left of the yellow quite comfortable once he removes this yellow.
Okay, so now we're getting to the situation that earlier Ryan Day refused. How to go about
52.
This top part of the table. But at least he's got a 52-point lead before he starts potentially tripping up on a banana skin. Well, there's the banana skin.
53.
A little trip. Or is it a slip? Having a look at the scoreboard now. Shake of the head. If he just knocks this pink in, Joe can only draw. Or do you play safe?
Played a bit of both.
Fine day.
Played 53. To pot the pink and also played the safety shot. It's a nice break of 53, but he should have really made enough to clinch this fourth frame. But, well, Joe Perry, he'll probably knock this long one in. He hasn't been able to get near a pot recently. It's just hard work at the moment. But he's got away with this one.
Well, a while back Joe Perry was in such excellent form. He doesn't look the same player tonight. But then every day on the snooker table was a different day. Looks more puzzled than deflated. He may well be flat inside, but I can't believe that he's missed the balls by so far. He must be trying to work out what's gone wrong with the technique rather than, you know, and in that situation, you stop thinking about competing in the match. You're starting to work on your technique in your mind, and that's a problem.
Yeah, because he was in the practice room with Terry Griffiths, and, you know, this is a few of the misses that he's thrown in.
Well, that explains it all then. Sorry, Tel.
Terry Griffiths, of course, available to all the 110 sport players. If they would like him to give him a bit of coaching, he's there. And he works with a few of the boys. Used to do a bit of work a few years back with Stephen Hendry, Mark Williams, but they're doing their own thing. No such thing as a coach when I came over to England, first of all, Steve. I think Frank Callan was probably the only one that really used to study the game back then.
Yeah, I suppose going back in the annals of snooker history, if you could have hired the services of Joe Davis, I'm sure you would have had a good coach. Perhaps he was more interested in his own game.
In fact, I was at... Rishi, our presenter, he's a member of Hendon Golf Club. I was there a few weeks ago, and the great Joe Davis was a member at Hendon Golf Club. They've got a lovely little snooker room there, and they've got Joe's cue and a few trophies that he won. It was terrific to have a look at.
It was a long way from Huddersfield, where he lived.
And he also had a lovely photograph of the great Gary Player there as well. So he did like his golf, Joe.
Got a good cue ball here, although Joe can probably pot the red into the middle pocket. It's a lot more difficult than it looks on our television screens. Looks quite easy from there, doesn't it? But the table foreshortened on television. 12 feet by 6 feet, the dimensions. But I think it probably looks more like a square on the television. I'm trying to think how it looks. Yeah.
What's that in new money?
Oh, it's millilitres or something, I don't know. They've all changed it now.
1.
10 out of 10 for that one, Joe. Perfectly played.
Yes, and from nowhere, a chance. And the way Joe's been feeling in the last couple of frames, he'd just be happy to knock 2 reds, 2 colours in, and then think about this red down the rail. But he's got to be positive. He's got to try and think, here's a frame-winning opportunity.
Not a good angle, though. He can't play for that red that's to the right of the black. And the reason he couldn't play for that red was when the black was re-spotted. He wouldn't have been able to get
8.
to it, so that was the reason he had to force it in, but the chance is still there.
Biggest problem now, obviously not the red and not the next colour, just somehow getting on this red, probably next to the black.
9.
Gonna have to play for the top cushion with the cue ball, unless he chooses to play the difficult one first, but then no real benefit there, is there?
Well, if he plays for the one near the black, you play as if you're trying to play a cannon onto the black. Let's see what he's decided on. He's on it. He's played it well. Absolutely spot on.
14.
He's got very little margin for error there.
Very clever shot there, because in some ways he was hoping to clip the red. That would have been nice, push it into open play. He doesn't really want to be having to play this red down the rail. He's going to have no choice.
15.
Just enough pace, that's very nice. Wants to get as close as possible to this red. He's going to have to play it with the rest. He's a right-hander. The pink's in quite a nice position. This would be a fantastic steal, considering where Ryan Day was amongst the balls.
20.
What a fillip for Joe Perry.
Now he's almost straight on this red, so he'll probably play for the pink. He'll screw it back because it'll be easier to get to the yellow from the pink or the blue. Played it well, and if he's got a slight angle on the pink, he can come out onto the yellow, and this would be a steal and a half, this one. Looks as if he's straight on it, but he's still okay.
Just about went in. Couldn't do much with the white ball there. It wasn't bang in the middle, but he struck it nicely. What a test of character this is. He missed a yellow earlier. Oh, and the same side as well. Was it preying in his mind?
27.
Oh dear. Would certainly suggest that he's putting unwanted side on the cue ball in delivery. Flicking a bit of right-hand side on somehow with the cube, with the tip. Very hard to detect sometimes. Certainly from a coach's perspective.
That's usually the case, isn't it, when you do slip up or make a mistake, and then when you come to play a shot, the balls always tend to run against you. When you're playing well, you always seem to get away with it.
Two.
Well, Ryan Day will be very relieved. 4-0 at the interval. Can do no better than that. Joe Perry,
5.
really at the moment, doesn't look like he's going to have a chance in this.